All right, so you guys sent in a ton about Aventon's new this Aventon Control Unit thing, the ACU,
Yeah, the ACU.
in some of their e-bikes, right? So we're diving into that today. All the smart stuff, all these features.
It's definitely interesting.
What's the real deal for riders? Like, what does this actually do for you? And we're going to try to make sense of it all without, getting too technical.
Exactly.
All right, so the core of this whole ACU seems to be this 4G connection,
Right.
which is different from what we see with a lot of e-bikes. They're all talking Bluetooth, Bluetooth, Bluetooth.
Yeah, you see that a lot.
So why did Aventon decide to go this route? And what's the big deal for, like, the everyday rider?
Well, I think it comes down to how you interact with the bike.
Yeah.
Bluetooth, you got to be right there, close by.
Yeah, it's very limited.
Exactly, limited range.
Mm-hmm.
But 4G, that's like giving your bike its own phone line, its own internet connection.
Yeah.
So suddenly you can do things like control it from much farther away.
Mm-hmm.
And the tracking, that's real time from anywhere you've got cell service.
Wow, that's huge for security, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we were reading about all this GPS stuff. So how does that actually work with the ACU and 4G?
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You've got the Aventon app on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. And because the bike has GPS built in and that 4G connection, you can literally see where your bike is live on a map
Like constantly.
constantly. So peace of mind right there if it ever goes missing. But it goes even further. The ACU is smart enough to know if the bike is being moved when it shouldn't be. It'll actually send you an alert straight to your phone.
Okay, so it's like a heads up that something's up.
Exactly, like an early warning
So
system.
what if you don't see the alert, right? You're busy, you don't have your phone on you. That's where the alarm comes in,
You
right?
got it. So not only does it detect that weird movement, but the ACU can also set off an alarm on the bike itself. Loud noise, draws attention, hopefully scares off whoever's messing with it.
So it's not just about finding your bike after it's gone. It's about preventing it from being stolen in the first place.
Exactly. Prevention is key.
All right, so we've talked about security, but this ACU thing also has these kind of cool convenience features. What's the deal with geofencing? I feel like that's one people might not understand.
So geofencing is pretty neat. Imagine you draw a circle on a map in the app. That's your geofence. And you can set it up so that if the bike goes outside that area,
Like if someone tries to ride it out of that zone?
yeah, you can make it do things automatically, like maybe the pedal assist turns off or you get a notification. Really useful if you're lending your bike to someone or, if you worry about where it's going.
Like parental controls, almost.
Kinda, yeah. And then you got the startup password. You can make it so someone needs to put a code in on the bike's display before it'll even turn on. Simple, but it might stop a thief from just grabbing it and going.
Makes sense. And keyless battery removal. That just sounds handy.
Oh, yeah, it's the little things, right? No
Hmm.
more fiddling with keys. Just pop the battery out through the app or the display. Super convenient for charging.
Speaking of convenience, we noticed some models have a lockable kickstand.
Right. So that's integrated with the ACU too. You can actually lock and unlock the kickstand from the app or the display. That's like a quick built-in security measure, good for short stops where you don't want to lug a big lock around.
So big picture, all this ACU stuff, what are the real advantages?
Okay, so if we put it all together, you're getting a much stronger security system because it's always connected with that 4G. Plus, you get those convenient features that make everyday riding easier. And knowing you can see where your bike is at any moment, that's got to be worth something. It's all controlled right from the app, so it's pretty user-friendly.
But like we said, Aventon's not the only one doing smart e-bikes.
Oh, yeah, there are a bunch out there.
We saw that big list, Giant, Van Moof,
There's
Specialized.
a lot of big names.
What makes the ACU different?
Well, a lot of those other brands are really into Bluetooth for their smart features. But Aventon went all in on 4G for security from the beginning, and that makes a difference. It's about having that constant, reliable connection for things like GPS tracking. They're focusing on that always-on security, which is a pretty big deal, especially when you consider that their prices are often lower than some of those fancier brands.
So it sounds like Aventon is making a real play in the smart e-bike world. They're pushing that always connected angle, making security a top priority, and keeping things user-friendly, all at a price that's not going to break the bank. It really comes down to what you need as a rider. How important is that constant connection? How much peace of mind do you want from your e-bike security? And what does all this mean for the future? Are we going to see even more integrated tech in our bikes? What do you think? That's something to think about as you're cruising around out there. That's all for today's deep dive.
Yeah, good stuff.